what a pleasure to be here this evening. Your Excellency, Ambassador Ugo Astuto, Ms. Khanna, Mr. Raman Sidhu, all the other excellencies gathered here, ladies and gentlemen. As Raman reminded me earlier, I've been with the group, the EBG European Business Group, and I've seen its growth. I've seen the phenomenal work that it does, and I want to congratulate the EBG for bringing out yet another well-researched document on the position paper, as they call it, with all the messages from the European ambassadors, plus the chapters on different sectors and segments of the economy. It's indeed a pleasure. I've released it once before, and I was delighted to accept the invitation to be able to do this again today. Ladies and gentlemen, India and EU are spatial partners, this is the let me therefore underscore the very strong economic and strategic ties between the two regions, between the EU and India. I used to be a regular participant to our meetings and be very interested when I was the chief executive of ICRIA, because EU was a part of our regular beat, as it were, and we used to interact very regularly with Brussels, both with our our ambassador there, as well as all the directorates, especially I remember Directorate 8, which used to be there in the Center for, I think the Center for Economic Policy, that SEPS, I think that was there. So my relationship with EU goes a long way. I must recall here my mentor, Dr. K.B. Lal, the founder of ICRIA, who had the unique position of having been India's ambassador to EU on 2 occasions. And because I worked with him for 5 years, he introduced me to EU as nobody else would be able to. We went together to Europe on more than one occasion. He had a special bond with EU, and used to say all the time that if Pax Americana has to be replaced at some point of time by Pax rules of Pax Harmonica, where everybody is going forward in a rule-bound world, in a multilateral rule-bound world, and India and EU will have to play a very important role together, because in some sense, while EU countries, our partners, are of course very much more developed than us, we could be a group of countries which, being democracies, which being rule-bound, which respecting the rule of law and committed to the multilateral trading order, could come together to make sure that the world trading order remains on the same firm track of being driven by consensus and by the rules that we forge for ourselves today. I think, therefore, it's important to ensure that the material basis of this relationship, which is the economic interaction, the economic relations of investment and commerce, trade in both goods and services, becomes even stronger than what it is today. I'm fully aware of the fact that EU is the largest trading partner for India, with 80 billion euros worth of trade amongst us, which is around slightly more than 11% of India's total trade, and it contributes a very significant amount of foreign direct investment into India as well, plus technologies that we get from all our partner countries within the EU, but where we are, I think, is not good enough as far as I'm concerned, because I think we can do much better. We should do much better, and we should aim for a target of doubling our bilateral trade between the EU and India in the next 5 years. I know I've talked to the Department of Commerce, and they are very keen to take this relationship further. They would like to explore ways of improving our trade, our economic relationships. And I think both trade in goods and services as well as investments, I think can increase at a much faster clip than what we have done. Again, I realize that FDI is now 18% of the total FDI we receive, but the volumes are not as large as they can be. So I know it was recently outlined in the 15th EU-India Summit held in July and endorsed in the EU-India Strategic Partnership Roadmap for 2025 by our Honorable Prime Minister and the President of the European Commission, Her Excellency Ursula von der Leyen. Both pairs are unions of diversity with a common interest in each other's security, prosperity, and sustainable development. Indeed, as the roadmap highlights, the ambition of working towards a balanced, ambitious, and mutually beneficial trade and investment agreements is the common goal for both partners. With the announcement of the European Green Deal in December 2019 and the strong support towards renewable energy by our own Indian government, we have set ourselves not just a target of 175 gigawatts by 2025, but we've now ramped it up to 450 gigawatts by 2030. And this morning, I had a meeting with the Minister of Power and Renewable Resources and Department of Science and Technology, where we are looking at now the possibilities of using renewable power to produce green hydrogen, because we are now getting bids for producing solar power at less than 2 rupees per unit. And therefore, we think that there will be enough energy, renewable energy for India to produce ammonia and then to get the hydrogen from the hydrogen, etc. So we are looking at all forms of green energy, green mobility, and preventing climate change, where we think Europe and India can be very close partners. Let me say that the technological revolution, where Europe is now gone much further than us, and the carbon imperative should bring the both partners closer together, because I know that we can benefit a great deal by the exchanges that we have in all the sectors that are outlined in this paper. India has shown its commitment to the global multilateral order. We've shown our commitment also to global cooperation, even during these COVID times, where we have offered to cooperate with all other countries for supplies of requisite materials, for required supplies of all the preventive equipment, etc. We are committed. The Honorable Prime Minister is committed to ensure that the vaccines distribution is done as equitably as possible. And again, I think here EU and India can show the way forward to the rest of the world in ensuring that the vaccine reaches all the needies and in a prioritized manner at a cost which is affordable. These times will pass. I'm sure the Indian economy will get on to a path of accelerated and sustained high rates of growth in the fiscal year 21-22. We need to do that to meet our own aspirations. And as we do that, we will look to EU as our dynamic and buoyant partner as we go forward. I know that I was speaking to Mr. Piyush Goyal this morning, and I think we are now prepared, and we are now keen to have a trade agreement with the EU maybe in a phased manner, rather than go the whole hog. I think that's something which will really bring benefit to both of us. I think it's important to see it maybe even in a sequenced manner, so that we don't bring everything to the table that we both sides require and need, but we can, I think, think about it in a more practical way. But an agreement at this point, at this stage, will actually demonstrate the sort of vibrancy of our relationship. And I therefore strongly recommend that we here in Delhi, His Excellency Ambassador Astuto and the other ambassadors, we can get together and talk about how we can take this forward in the coming months. Finally, let me say that EU, and I repeat myself, but only because of what I think is important, EU and India must work together to ensure that all the multilateral institutions that we have retain and even strengthen their robust nature and are not allowed to wither away and are not allowed to get diminished as we go forward. Because in the days to come, that will be the bedrock of ensuring that we have a global order which is peaceful, which is equitable, which meets the aspirations of all the people in our country and yours, and where we can see prosperity, a shared prosperity amongst all. Thank you all very much for your patient hearing, and I wish you all the best and look forward to the release of the 15th position paper. And before I end, I must congratulate Raman and his team and all others for continuing to bring this out year after year, because it adds to the knowledge repertoire that we have on what we can do in these various sectors. Thank you all very much.